Going up first is Adam Warlock. I'm not gonna lie, but Adam is kind of hard to play. You kind of need a decent bit of skill for him. His ult, however, is really game-changing. If you're good with him, he'd probably be an A, but I'm terrible at him.
Bruh.
So we're just gonna toss him at C. Next, Black Panther is a really good DPS for murdering the backline, but if you play on controller, he's just about impossible to play. Luckily for me, I don't play on controller. I just suck. And this tier list is entirely based on preference, so I'm just gonna chuck him at C tier, right in front of Adam Warlock. Cap, I feel like it's a pretty straightforward character, but I haven't really seen anyone playing Cap actually pop off. Like, I've seen good Cap players, but never one with really impressive stats. He's good, he just doesn't have too much potential, so I'm just gonna put him in B. Doctor Strange is a really good character that has a really high potential to help the team. But now that I think about it, I haven't really ever seen Doctor Strange be MVP. That being said, I still feel like he's probably one of the best tanks. For that, he deserves A. Groot, on the other hand, is also a really good tank, but he just isn't as versatile as Strange. He can still do really well for his team, but his kit is just kind of lackluster and not as fun to play as other characters. So I'm gonna put him into solid B tier. Hawkeye was pretty crazy before he was nerfed, but needless to say, nobody really plays him anymore. He's honestly still the same, just with less damage. So I'd put him at a low B tier. Iron Fist, on the other hand, is a really fun character and really fun to play. But when you're fighting him, he is a pain to kill. And he's just a nuisance, honestly. Even though he doesn't have too much potential, he's really fun. So I'm gonna slap him in upper B tier, right in front of Cap. Okay, Luna Snow is a pretty good healer, but she doesn't have too much healing output. But the ability in which you share your healing, you can put on your team's divers and flankers, which you really can't reach, and it's really good. And same for the stun, which is really good for sticky situations, like you're getting dived by a tank. You just stun him and you run. Same for a passive, it's really useful. And I think, honestly, her survivability is probably her best trait. Both the stun and the ice clap heals her. I might be a little bit biased here because I've played her a ton, but I'm gonna put her S tier. Magneto's a really good tank, although his ult isn't that crazy. His shields are really useful. I'm pretty sure that they can even block ults. I'm gonna put him just under Strange just because he's a little bit harder to play. Penny Parker's kind of a mid tank, honestly. Her ult does next to nothing, and she's just kind of mediocre. You can do well with her, but you have to know how to make good use of her abilities. And her main gun, which doesn't do very much damage, so it's not that good, honestly. So I'm gonna put her right behind him in Warlock. Admittedly, because I main Punisher, this part is probably the most biased, but I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna put him in S tier. He's one of the easiest heroes to play, and his mechanics are extremely simple. His shotgun is so overpowered, and you're practically guaranteed to have 50 to 60% MVP rate in quick play.
That's why he's the GOAT!
Basically, farming kills with his turret is such an OP strat. S tier, that's justified. To be fair, there are other characters with higher skill ceilings, but Punisher is just easier. The same goes for Star-Lord, where he's one of those really easy characters to learn and play, and his main attack's really simple. As long as you're close to them, you'll do an absurd amount of damage, and even if you miss your shots, you can easily finish them off with his E ability. He also has some really good mobility to quickly get in and out and land a ton of kills, so I'm gonna put him at S tier. Honestly, for Spider-Man, I don't think I owe any of you an explanation. Scarlet Witch honestly isn't too bad if you just want to turn your brain off, but in doing this you really lose all the fun in the game, and there's absolutely no part of holding down a single attack to kill someone that seems remotely fun. And her ult, when used well, can be decent, but the fact that it takes so long to execute is such a bad deal breaker. Venom is a fun and simple tank, and he's great for making space, but he isn't too versatile. Compared to the other tanks, just can't do as much for the team. I'm gonna put him right in front of Hawkeye. Black Widow just doesn't fit in too well in a game like this. She's honestly just a worse version of Hawkeye, and unless you really need the scope, I don't see a reason using her over Hawkeye. Her ult does practically nothing, so I'm just gonna put her at the very bottom of C tier. The Winter Soldier is probably one of the most well-balanced characters in this game.
Armed and dangerous! Again! 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 Again!
Okay, maybe not really, but the rest of his mechanics are well made, and not too overpowered. His pistol is also pretty good and needs some really good accuracy. For that, I'm just gonna toss him over at the bottom of A tier. Lastly, Mr. Fantastic. He's a really hit or miss DPS. Either he carries the entire team or he goes 3 to 24. I love his mechanics and he's a pretty enjoyable character to play. His different forms make him really fun to play, and his shielding ability, which rebounds bullets, is also really fun. Despite this, his ult isn't really that crazy. Every time I use it, it seems like it's gonna be crazy and I'm gonna pop off, but I only end up pulling off a single kill at most. I'd put him at the bottom of A tier. Well, that wraps up this video. If you want to see me play the other characters and put them on the tier list, make sure to like and subscribe to let me know you guys enjoyed this video. Bye!